There we go.
That's where I was.
Malachi, the
Malachi. Yes, we're not in Malachi.
Italian prophet from days of yore.
Yeah. And everything wants to update now. No.
It's all right. We're live.
And we're live.
There you go.
Very
It's
cool.
working.
And we are live.
All these awesome people here.
Oh, there's people waiting?
No.
Oh, well.
I don't see anyone. How do you know? I don't know. I can't see on this. It doesn't show the viewers like it does for me on when I do Twitch.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome to the More About Jesus podcast. We're just getting ready to start recording for the podcast.
Podcast.
But I'm glad you're watching.
Ready in 3, 2, 1.
Hello. Welcome to the More About Jesus podcast. We're back after our holiday break, which is a thing I guess podcasters do. So I'm Al, and I'm here as always, because I won't do this alone, with my cousin Daniel.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, and he's drinking coffee, because we both are working dudes.
Actually,
he's probably sore like me too, right now.
Because we're old working dudes. That's why. And it's spiced apple drink.
Spiced apple, like literally on the bottle it says apple drink?
Well, it's like packets. Like
yeah.
Packets. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I still need coffee to exist. One awesome thing that happened this week. Because I'm diabetic, I've been looking for creamer. Because I like French vanilla creamer, but it's all like sugar. So I'm not sabotaging my life by having sugar in my drink, right?
Yeah.
And I keep looking for at least 3 years for a creamer. I'm like, why can't? And so I look online, I look on Amazon, whatever. I never can find it. But then this week we're in Walmart, and I'm like, I'm so tired of not getting creamer that I like, right? And Glory goes, well, this one says no sugar. I'm like, what? And I jump over there, and sure enough, they have a brand now that's 0 sugar.
Oh, nice.
So it has the whatever cancer sugar in it, sucralose, which I'm good with that. I just can't have high blood sugar.
I can't have high blood sugar, but cancer, we can deal with that.
So good. But yeah, we're sore because we're old and we do a lot of grunty work, right? I spent the week shoveling off rail cars and stuff like that, moving snow, getting stuff ready for doing rail cars after we had been away from our plant for a while. So my body's like, I'm done. And then of course it was extreme cold. How cold did it get in Edmonton?
With or without the wind chill, because that's a factor that we have here in the prairies.
Well,
without the wind chill, I think we hit minus 35 during the day.
Yeah, that's what we had too. So that's like the hottest part of the day.
Yeah.
Minus 35.
Yeah. And then
Celsius. And then for all our American friends.
With the wind chill, you're kicking around minus 40-ish, 42. So probably a little bit worse where you are.
It's ridiculous.
Yes. And then it hung there for about 3 weeks of frozen tundra.
And then it warmed up a bit. It was like minus 6 or 7, but still minus 80 with the wind chill. Not quite, but
yeah.
Sometimes it feels like that.
Here in Edmonton, we hit plus 6 the other day.
Oh, so that was warmer than us. I think we got up to like a 3 or 4.
Yeah, because we went from like minus 25, minus 35 with the wind chill on Sunday to plus 6 on Tuesday.
Oh.
So, and that was like, you just watched, like you got up in the middle of the night and the temperature was just rising during the night. It was insane. So, which was a nice reprieve because in my business of fixing cars, 3 weeks of minus 35 made for a very busy January. Very busy.
I've been waiting for a whole week for my car to get fixed. My problem was because there was so much snow when I went to work the one time, I kind of plowed through, and I have a little Hyundai Accent, so my work vehicle. So when you go through snow and it's plowing up front, like over the bumper onto your windshield, you're
Yeah.
probably not doing the right thing. But I had to get to work. So then it freezes up inside. You get snow in places that you shouldn't get snow.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't start. Check engine light comes
Oh.
on. But then I got it warmed up in a shop and it worked. And then the next day I drove it to work because I have a heated garage. And then go to work, sits there for a couple hours in the minus 30 billion.
Yeah.
Won't start. Like, okay, I got to the shop.
Yeah. Oh.
But that's all you deal with. You deal with all the goons like me that drive their car into a bunch of snow. I don't know what happened.
That is my life. Yes. Yes. I fix broken things and lots of broken things.
Well, that's a good
And
thing, though.
I guess yeah.
So,
Yeah.
did we tell people what we've been doing in the last while? What have we been doing
Yeah,
with
because
our time?
we've been off for a while since like beginning of December.
Yeah, like
So
month and a half.
yeah, about a month and a half that we've been off. So I mean, Christmas time is incredibly busy
Mm-hmm.
for me personally because as a worship leader, Christmas time is busy trying to remember how to play Christmas carols and
Oh, the
Christmas songs.
chords are just ridiculous in some of them.
On some of them, I've got the simplified versions, but even at that, it's like you
Yeah.
only sing these for like a month out of the year. So it's like, how do these go? And I have to remember these.
Basically,
And it's
Joy to
like,
the World and Silent Night are like the 3-chord songs, and all the
yeah.
rest are the ridiculous songs.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then you throw in a couple of newer ones, but most people actually prefer traditional Christmas songs for Christmas time.
Like what? Like God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen.
God rest ye merry
That one is just
gentlemen.
like it's a new chord every phrase, right? D D
There are
D
some
D D.
simplified
Switch
versions.
switch 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 switch.
Yeah.
I just didn't bother with that one with guitar. I would just let's do this one a cappella. The spirit's leading me to make this a
The
cappella.
spirit is leading me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, December was incredibly busy for me, and I was just like, yeah, I'm glad we took the break for the Christmas time, and it was good. It was actually really good. We did get to hang out with a few people. We also had Brandy's heart birthday that happened on New Year's because that's about when her transplant had actually happened. So
Mm-hmm.
she is now 9 years with her heart. So that's with her brand new heart. So yeah.
So many spiritual lessons we can use there.
Oh, absolutely.
Like a sermon and a half. That's cool. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
neat. Not many people get that special birthday or anniversary.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, not too many people do, and 9 years ago, just about didn't. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
My time was not good, but it was good that we were on a break because we've had some real big family struggles. That if you know who we are, and then you know what was going on, and but we're on the road to doing better, and by the grace of God, a lot of really good friends and really good family members have helped us along the way through our struggle. So it's awesome. If you want to know, hit me up. But if you know me, you already know what's been going on. But and you know what, we might bring it all up someday on reconnection successful.
disconnected, reconnected on YouTube.
Oh, the OBS did it. I don't know why.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
but we're good on your connection on the podcast. But yeah, no. So I've had a kind of a crappy time, to be honest. And work's been hard, so I've been on that stressed edge.
Yeah.
So I'm just finally doing better because work's challenging. When it's slow, they send us to other plants, and the other plant is a little more disorganized, and I don't do well with it. I don't like getting thrown into a thing where I'm in charge and stuff and having to figure things out, and it's a mess and disorganized, and then right away I'm already on that edge because I got lots going on. But now I'm on the road to recovery, so I'm feeling better.
Oh, that's good.
And I've had a
Back at
few
your own plant?
discoveries. This is a guitar issue, not issue. I bought some nylon strings for my acoustic. Oh, I told you that, I think.
Yeah. Well, you told me, but not the people
I like
here
the
on.
sound of them. They're good. And I'm working my way into playing guitar again. Part of
Nice.
that comes from music that I found that is blessing me. So it's been a hard time for me with church music. I was so much into worship music, and then for a lot of reasons, I can't really listen to a lot of it anymore.
Yeah.
And I was looking for that spiritual connection in music, and it's been about a year and a half of just kind of scrounging around. And I rediscovered old stuff by listening to Michael Card, John Michael Talbot.
Oh, wow.
And the richness of it. And it's all stuff that I knew before, but had set aside for different music. It didn't had affect me, but now it's the only thing that it's I don't know, I can't explain, but I found something. So it's made me feel like I can do music again, which is awesome. It's like a healing thing, I guess.
Yeah. I love listening to some of the older stuff as well, and I find it actually takes you back to where you were back then. So, yeah. So, yeah. Hello, Ryan. Nice to see you in the chat.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about, well, we could get to it right now. Why don't we?
Oh, we got guitar stuff, and I was going to say, like, one game I did try out this Christmas is my daughter bought Secret Hitler.
Oh yeah, I want that game.
Yeah,
it's a deadly
she
game.
got that. It is. I mean, we were just figuring it out, so we didn't play it to its fullest extent. So just a little bit too. Yeah, we didn't try to throw it off or anything like that, or play the sides or do the drama or anything like that. I was just trying to figure out the game. So it was probably a little drier than what it should be.
Well, once you work through it, like if you get used to it and people play along with it, it's almost a little bit of role playing that has to happen. And if people aren't used to role playing, then it's harder for them.
Yeah, and that's just it. And yeah, because Julie was like, "Oh, I've played this with other people, and they're way more animated than us right now." I'm like, "Oh, that'd make it more fun." Because other than that, it's just a political game.
Yeah, it's a fictional
without
game.
The drama, political games are just.
We got Ryan in chat there asking about Hitler. Yeah, he's in the Netherlands, so yeah, I know that. I'm glad you're here. No, it's a board game where there's a villain, and they call it that, but there's a villain that is trying to sabotage the game, and the role of the board game is to find out who the villain is.
Yeah,
and it's not.
It's a political game pitching fascists versus liberals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all supposedly in good humor. It's not meant to be political or stir up controversy or.
Yeah.
It makes light of those kind of things. Which actually, you know what? It would probably help us to make a little light of that, because right now the political world's so polarized between left and right, and it's like, oh, I don't want to be there, because I guarantee you Jesus would be in the middle on, like, he's not on either side.
Yeah. Oh, he wouldn't even. I don't think he'd be like, "Why are we playing this game?"
Yeah, he's not even on his radar. Exactly. So, do we get to the main topic?
I guess we could. I mean, if we're done with, like,
I got lots to talk with that. I want to get on it because I'm kind of antsy. I've been thinking about it for like 3 weeks. Or more.
Getting ready to be lightly salted.
Yeah. So I'll just read this.
Yeah, you go ahead and read it.
I'll read it in the New Living. So we're in Matthew 5. We're continuing with our series through the Sermon on the Mount. And we're done the Beatitudes. So now we're moving into cool stuff. Matthew 5:13 to 16. You are the salt of the earth, but what good is salt if it has lost its flavor? Can you make it salty again? It will be thrown out and trampled underfoot as worthless. You are the light of the world, like a city on a hilltop that cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Salt and light.
Well, I think we could break it into two things. Start with what is salt? In the Chosen, I like that how Jesus explains it to Matthew, because he's asking, he didn't get the point, but then he got it after.
Yeah.
But because we talked about this before, it could be salt is either a preservative or it's a flavor thing or a savory thing. So what was your thinking on that?
Salt, and especially like back in the context of then, right? Salt was much needed for life and much more expensive than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Because salt was used to preserve, because there was no refrigerators to speak of, right? So in order to make things last longer, you had to salt them, like all your meats, your fishes, and stuff. I think that's even looking back, thinking back to when we used to have sailboats go across the ocean and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they had to preserve everything to go back and forth over the ocean to make sure.
Yeah, no fridges, salt.
That's right. Salt was used as a main preservative, and you could actually barter with salt. I mean, back then, because it was kind of expensive. Now salt is extremely cheap, so much so that you don't even care where it comes from. So, I mean, when's the last time you looked at the country of origin on your salts?
Heck no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I never have.
I don't know if it comes from some of the salt mines we have here in Canada, or I don't know. I
know there's some spots, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's one place when in the prairies driving through somewhere in Saskatchewan that stunk.
Yeah.
I know that's the salt place.
Yeah, I remember stopping there once on the way to Cairnport.
Yeah, that's where it is, down in the south there on the number 1 highway.
Yeah. I was like, what the heck is this? And we were
unfortunate.
Yeah. I was like, this is a salt mine. I'm like, ooh, we've been assaulted.
But given that this verse mentions flavor, I tend to think that it's probably most like Jesus is mostly getting at the savory flavor part of salt. Like as far as his spiritual, but I don't know, like can we draw conclusions from both things? I think it's fair. I don't think we need to say there's only one thing to draw from this.
Yeah, I mean even okay, so cook some meat on an open fire with no salt. And then cook it with some salt.
Yeah, it's so much better. Yeah, obviously better.
Which one tastes better?
What do you think of that guy? This is totally on the side. Have you seen that meat guy on social media? Yeah,
Salt Bay.
I want to punch that guy. Is that bad? Not really, but
yeah,
I'm kidding.
At my church we have a men's group, and we've gotten together a few times for barbecues, open pit fire barbecues, and we've got a few Brazilian guys, and they cook mainly with just salt, like nothing else. And yeah, they put a lot of salt on the meat, and you know what? It tastes amazing.
Yeah, I tend to do beef with just salt and maybe some pepper. That's it.
Yeah.
I like the meat taste.
Oh, so do I.
Getting distracted, and now I want meat.
Yeah. So do I, because I for supper tonight I had ramen. So I mean, but it was good ramen. Like it had like an egg and some vegetables in it. But
Oh, yeah, we dress ours up too.
Oh, yeah, of course.
How would it taste without salt, though?
Like pasta water.
So here, what if you had salt that you put in the food and it didn't do its job?
It's pointless.
Then it would be it would be so bland and boring. It would be the worst thing ever.
And it's pointless. At that point, it's pointless. You thought it was going to do its job.
Yeah.
Right? And you put it in there and it did nothing.
But if you were to throw it out on your sidewalk right now in the winter, it would probably would it melt the ice, or would at least keep people from slipping?
No, because it's lost its salinity, right? That saltiness is that, right? Which how does it do that anyway? I don't even know how
chemical reaction.
I guess.
But all of that's a distraction from the actual truth of this, is that I think Jesus is making the point that we have to be the good flavor in the world. Do you have the message with you, or
I do?
Okay, do it. Do just that verse 2:13 if it'll let you do just the salt part, because this is super good.
Yeah, no. When Brandy read it to me the other day in the message, and I'm like, that one sums it up really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me tell you why you are here. You're to be salt seasoning that brings out the God flavors of this earth. If you lose your saltiness, how will people taste godliness? You've lost your usefulness and will end up in the garbage.
In the garbage.
just gone.
So our purpose is to be the God flavor in the world. Because if we don't, how else will they taste it?
Yeah.
One of the songs that John Michael Talbot does, that it's actually just the words of Mother Teresa. So Mother Teresa had a prayer. Christ has no body now but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. So we are set here to show people who God is by how we live, to be that God flavor in the world. But what does that look like? That's where I've been wrong for a lot of my life. I've been the thorn in the paw of the world, not the salt or the light of the world. Does that make sense? Like in the sense that I used to think being a salt was because people have wounds and it'll sting and it'll cause pain, but at least I'm being true to being my nature, which is to be a salt of the world. And pointing out people's sin and making sure they understand everything about the Bible and staying true to what I believe is right and wrong and telling everyone about that, and or
so you're being
make sure that I tell people that they're going to hell if they don't come to know Jesus. That was, to me, being a salt. But now I'm thinking it's completely different.
Yeah, that sounds like you're being salty, not salt.
Exactly. So my God flavor, though, was judgy, angry God. That was the flavor I was doing. Is that the God I should be?
Let's go back to the cooking analogy, because this is perfect, because that's sort of where Jesus was hitting with that, I think. Right. So I just got this, and so we'll see where it goes. So because Jesus is talking about being salt to bring out the flavors. Right. And even in here, to bring out the God flavors. So when we put salt on meat to cook it, it brings out the flavor of the meat. It makes it so much better.
Mm-hmm.
So being salt to the earth means that we're actually supposed to bring God's flavor forward more. We're supposed to bring how Jesus is forward more, not condemning, not berating, but so you're looking at, if we're talking about more about Jesus, we are looking at love,
Mm-hmm.
peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self control. There's a few others. I can't remember them all.
I
I
think you
don't have
only
them all
miss
memorized.
goodness,
Goodness.
I think.
Okay.
But I'm just
Those are the
going by
God
my
flavors.
childhood memory of the
Yeah.
singing those kind of songs with Salty or whatever.
Yeah. And that's Arlen Salty. We're talking
No,
about
Salty,
salt and
that
being
book,
salt.
the singing book from
Yeah.
whatever
He's
those
actually
Christian records were.
from Edmonton.
Oh, oh
I
yeah,
think
no,
so.
I know, I met him actually.
Yeah. And yeah, I got stories about people and things and stuff. Anyway, um, just because I've known a lot of musicians. Um, so with the salty, so then we're supposed to be bringing out those flavors of God to the world, which is why later on it's like people will know you by love, joy, peace,
Mm-hmm.
patience, gentleness, self control,
Yeah, Jesus
goodness.
flat out said, "They'll know you're my disciples
Yeah.
because you love one another,"
Yes.
which
And
we
then Paul.
can kind of be
Yeah.
good at. But he could have added in there, and I'm not adding to anything. I'm not adding to scripture or anything weird like that. How we love others too. Like this is what we're getting at. That's what Jesus was getting at, and that's how he lived.
Yeah.
Was our love for others, and what was I known for? I wasn't known for that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the church known for? I'm not going to jab at the church. I'm not here to do that. And part of my new outlook on life, especially from looking into this stuff, is to not be the guy who's pointing out that stuff. But
Yeah.
and I'm a part of it. So this is a part of, this is a confession. I've been a part of a church that, and that's Big C Church, that has left a bad flavor in people's mouth. It's like dirt, not salt. It's like people are like, you guys hate everybody. Is there anything you're for? Like you're against the movies we watch, the music we listen to, how we dress, how the Harry Potter, and don't use Crest because the Moonies own it, and whatever. Over through the centuries, all the things we've tried to cancel because we think it's bad. People just, we leave a bad taste in their mouth instead of what the God flavor, which is love.
Yeah. Right.
And and unconditional acceptance, loving before. So Jesus died for us while we were sinners. He didn't say, okay, you clean up your act and you
No, I'm still here.
are coming back.
Sorry. I
He's there.
lost track of time.
I remember when on CBC they used to have that in the mornings, and you'd just sit there and wait for that to come on so you could watch TV. Saturday morning cartoons or whatever would come on.
Yeah.
So really, that's like I've said, that's more of a confession than anything. I think I want to be the bright spot in someone's day, the one that's making them laugh or feel good instead of making them feel like trash. Because that's what God would want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that legit, do you think? Or am I being too wishy-washy or liberal?
Well, we also have to we have to love people, but I mean, as a parent, I love my children and will discipline them as well. So I love them unconditionally. And that's, I mean, that's just how we do things. I think. I mean, that's kind of how I was raised. So I think that's how I parent now. There's a whole thing about you parent pretty much the same way your parents parented, maybe a bit differently because you didn't like something that they did. So you're going to parent a little bit differently. But I think you're fairly close. A lot of the times I find myself saying things that my dad would say, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's my dad. Oh
Yeah.
no, right? And it's
Yeah.
just like, okay. So then, yeah, looking at that, I'm liberal, no. Conservative, no. I don't think Jesus was any of those. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's God. So his government, his kingdom, is not part of this world. And he wasn't even born into a democratic kind of society. So I don't think he would know what to do with this anyway. Um, yeah, as far as our society goes. However, and look at what Jesus did. His first mission was to Samaria, the place where everybody, the Jews and the Gentiles, hated them both.
Hmm.
They were the outcasts of the outcasts, right? Um, so, and Jesus brought God flavors out of his disciples and into that area. So,
And it was hard for them at first.
oh yeah,
Because whatever rule system he had set up was like, you don't go there, you don't talk to this person.
yep.
And then so is it natural for us to be that way? Because I know I grew up that way and I wasn't taught that necessarily. I would put it on church culture as just how we do things. You don't go to those places, you don't talk to those people. And they bothered me, to be honest. I was a Striper fan and I was and so I proudly wore my Jesus medal stuff, and I got mocked or whatever, and I just thought, wow, what a bunch of idiots, and I didn't like them, and I didn't care to talk to them or be around them. I just thought they were idiots, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
And that wasn't right. But I mean, I was a teenager, right? So now that I know better, I know how to love people better without being so judgy. But it scares me when Jesus talks about if we've lost our soul, our God flavor, that we're kind of useless. We're useless to him. We're not helping anything. It's not like you're a little bit good. It's not like you've lost some of your saltiness. It's your garbage.
Yeah.
And that scares me. Without love, like in Paul mentions it, right? 1 Corinthians. You're just a noisy gong and a clanging cymbal. It's just a bunch of noise without love.
Yeah, I think it's that we don't lose the God flavor. We no longer bring it out. The God flavor's
you're
there.
right. Yeah.
The God flavor's there, right? The meat is there. The vegetables are there. The dish is all there. The table is set.
Yeah, there.
Right?
There you go.
We just have to help bring out the flavors. That's all.
I just keep thinking about hot sauce. I love hot sauce. See, Jesus could have used that too, right? If he was teaching the people in New Mexico or in Texas, he would have said, "You are the Tabasco of the world." Right?
Well, even at the fish fries that he had, when they're on the shores and stuff like that, and they're eating fish, and he's like, I'd really go good with this, other than just some salt, a little bit of Tabasco.
Yeah, you are the Tabasco.
I think he would have gone with that too.
Or other hot sauce. I mean, I like. There's all kinds.
There's lots.
Louisiana sauce.
Yes, something that makes it spicy and makes the next day painful.
So is there anything else with that salt and light you want to look at?
Oh,
I think we've kind of said the things. We got a whole nother light thing to go. But I think it all is the same anyway, but.
Yeah, well, it just says it is sort of in another way, right? Because this is what it says in the message. Here's another way to put it. You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven.
Hmm.
So, what's your thoughts on that one?
Oh, so much.
Like how you can keep an open house.
Okay.
Show the God
Before
colors.
we dig in,
okay.
God is not a secret to be kept. That's a Newsboy song. Going public. That's in there too, right? Didn't they say going public?
Yeah, going public with us.
That is the Newsboys album, which has the song Shine on it.
Yeah.
Isn't that bizarre?
Doesn't it have City on a Hill?
When he was writing this, he was listening to Newsboys. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, the guy who wrote the message.
Yeah,
so
he was listening to Newsboys. Really
that's a pop reference. That's a pop reference. Let's get a little pop references in here.
All those are good songs, though, that talk about the same very thing. One of the things that the light of the world thing has been to me recently was, I think a lot of Christian culture wants us to shelter ourselves from the badness of the world and the darkness of the world. Mm-hmm. One example would be, for years, people have been saying that you took God out of the school. Took God out of the schools when you stopped praying. And then people would start homeschooling or put their kids in a private Christian school. And my argument would be, when you took your Christian kids out of the school, you took God out of the school.
Mm.
I mean, and I'm not saying knock. I know a lot of really awesome parents that homeschool for various reasons. And heck, right now with COVID, I would be homeschooling too. But I'm fortunate enough my sons are grown up now. I don't have to deal with school and pandemic. It must be hard. But if we as Jesus followers are constantly hiding ourselves out, and this is a confession thing again, because I used to do that. Like I said, in high school, I didn't want to go to their parties or talk to them or eat lunch with anyone like that. I was completely separate from the things of the world, which I guess we want to do as parents to keep our kids from seeing the bad things and getting influenced towards evil ways. But at some point, if we're not in the darkness, our light is useless. It's just as useless as salt that has no saltiness.
Mm-hmm.
If I shine my light inside a lit area, it's not shining. But if I'm in a dark place, then it's shining. In order for your light to shine, you have to be in the darkness. Make sense?
That does make sense. I've never heard of it that way. That's actually pretty good. I like that. Yeah.
If all I do is go to church and go to a private Christian school and
hang out with other Christians and then
where is my light shining?
Yeah.
Like Jesus said, you love your family, you love all those in church, but
amongst
big deal. Everyone does that. Everyone loves their own kids and loves their own, for the most part.
Yeah.
But when you choose to love someone who's unlovable, or
shine a light in the community that you're in.
Okay, right? But what about corruption then? What about, we're worried about the world corrupting us, and we're, like James says, to keep oneself from being polluted by the world, right?
Yeah. And I mean, there's that aspect that you want to keep yourself righteous so that you can have a relationship with God, because we love Jesus. I mean, we've sold into the fact that Jesus is the King.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is Lord of all. Jesus is God, and we love him. We had some sort of worship, whether it's music or anything like that, experience that made us realize that this is real. that Jesus is real. Jesus was a real dude. Jesus was real in history. That it's, it's whether you're looking at it through an analytical mind or even just a spirit-filled mind, you find out that this person is real, and then you come to that decision of, then I have to love him, then I have to follow him. Now, I also have to keep myself in order to continue to be more like Jesus and try to be like him, because this is where your thoughts are. Your thoughts are gonna dwell on him. Your time is going to be dwelling on him instead of everything else in the world. So you try to do more things that are just for Jesus. I'm not saying that you don't have to be totally separate from the world, but you should guard your heart. And your heart, I don't like, you should guard this thing. Your brain
Your
and
essence
these,
or
like your
whatever.
eyes and your ears, about, is, I love listening to like lots of different music and stuff, and watching different shows, and I'm okay with that. I mean, but could I be better? I don't know. Does that mean that I have to separate myself in order to be a light? No. Do I want to protect my light? Yes, I want to protect my light, and I don't want it to be snuffed out. Using the analogies here, but I still need to shine in the darkness. So then Jesus has to then be the fuel behind the light. I can't do this on my own,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're going to be in the darkness. Like, and so you have to, you know, be in. You have to be in Christ to be able to be that strong to go into the darkness. But I don't think you need to be either. I think you could do this when you're not strong.
Yeah, I mean, if that's
As well.
then Christ can shine more through you, right?
Yeah, God uses us more in our weakness, because then he shines through than in our
Yeah, we got
strength.
to be just open and stuff like that. We can't be acting like we got it all together, but be people that are people of grace. And so if I act like I have it all together and then I see others and I'm judgy on them, well, that's just not shining our light, and that's a bad flavor. No. But if I'm like, oh man, I'm really struggling with this, and they know, but in spite of that, we still get along at work and stuff with coworkers, then I'm shining the light of Jesus. I don't have to be perfect for that.
That's right. Sure. And that I just thought of that as like, so if you have a crap attitude towards people, you're throwing crap on their God flavors, not salt.
Yeah, it's not even
so
carb.
It turns into crap.
Yeah.
Which is garbage.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm liking the food analogies too. Maybe it's because I'm hungry.
Probably. Yeah, we'll have a snack after. Yeah, so I mean,
Randy was making pancakes as I was coming out to the studio to do this. So I was like, oh,
what a brat.
Torture me. No.
One thing one thing I've thought for quite a while, when in regards to being in the world as a church, that's really what we got to be doing when we meet. I know we come together to worship, and but part of what we do should be that strengthening, that confession and the enrichment we need to go back out into the darkness. You know what I mean? Because we're all together. This is our recharge time. But if we're never vulnerable in our meetings or praying together in our meetings, like if we sing some awesome songs and get a bunch of biblical information and announcements and then just go out, are we being revived and energized to be the light in a dark place? Yeah. Are we learning how to love the unlovable in those kind of situations?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And are people starting to smell the fake on it all?
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that's our church is even trying to deal with right now. And we've been going through a lot of stuff by Carey Nieuwhof, and he's saying a lot of it as well. It's like, you know what? People have smelled the fake on church for a while, but the pandemic just actually gave them the reason to be like, yeah, I'm out. And that's why you see massive amounts of church closures.
It's an exodus.
It's an exodus.
But like, yeah, we can do a whole show on that. Not in a negative sense or like show you church, whatever, but what can we do about it? Can we? Where should we go from here?
Exactly that's exactly what we're trying to do in our church and stuff. And it's like, so, hybrid church is going to have to be something that's more normal now, like online and in person. Right? That's not, because people are always saying we need to get back to normal. It's like, well, obviously normal didn't work because nobody came back.
Yeah, no, normal wasn't the best.
So you gotta, the new normal, as they want to call it, which is like, no, things are changing. I think God actually has used this to shake up the church, if anything. Right? It made people sit back and realize, and now, do I actually believe this, or was it just because I like to go and hang out with these people on a Sunday?
Well, I know there's that element. I mean, being I haven't not gone to church in 2 years, pretty basically. I really miss it. I miss the connection and all that, even if it wasn't all that deep at times. It was just something that I got used to doing and dressing up for and things like that. Putting on my good Metallica t-shirt. Go to church.
I was like, dressing up. Oh my goodness. It's like,
I wear button-up shirts to church.
I have led worship with a Guinness shirt on.
There you go.
So, but I mean, Guinness himself had said that he got the recipe from an angel. And it's a harp that's on there because he's like, well, angels sing. And Guinness donates a lot of money to churches and stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, I can get behind Guinness.
That's awesome. I like the end of this part of the message with be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God. But the generous part, I'm like, so I've recently left Facebook for a bunch of reasons, mostly because part of the changes in my life right now is I'm kind of tired of ratings and arguments about things, even if it's just like dumb things like movies and stuff. Like I'm trying to get that part of my life going. So I don't care if someone likes the new Marvel movie or not, or what. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And I'm happy for you if you like that stuff, but I don't want to see any reviews or nothing. I just want to watch it, decide for myself. And I'm not going to tell you if I liked it or not unless you ask me, come over to my house. I'm not going to post a thing about, oh, the new Marvel movie's good or the new Marvel movie's garbage. I'm just moving away from all that. And it's just a personal choice. I don't think it's right or wrong or whatever. But it frustrates me. So in order to do that, I had to get off of Facebook for the most. So much of that there.
Yeah.
And other weird stuff. But because of that, I needed something else, so I'm on TikTok, which is bizarre. That one's a little more crazy. But I've learned from others that you could, if you could train your TikTok so you just keep flipping past the stuff you don't want to see. And eventually you settle on something really cool. Well, there's two people that I've noticed this last week. One guy, I don't know where he's situated, but he goes on a train every day he must commute, and he paints or draws a picture of someone across from him on every trip, and he records it all and then gives them this special picture just for them. And he touches their hearts every time. They're emotional about it. I can't believe you did this. Was this for me? And he's like, yeah, that's for you. Like, you're important and you're special. Like, he says stuff like that to them, and they cry half the time. And then there's another guy it looks like more of a train. Like, he must have a long commute, but he's this handsome, tall black dude that comes out, and he looks like a butler even at times, or he's dressed up. He has a table he sets up with a tablecloth, a little one, and he brings out a rose. He always sits down by a lady, and he basically gives her a date. Like, pours her wine and has food and stuff and doesn't say nothing. He just does that, and they all get red in the face or whatever, but he treats them like they're super special. And it's all recorded. and he makes their day. Now those are a
Yeah.
little more.
Well,
I can't do those things.
yeah, that last one I think almost borders on creepy as well.
Oh no,
Uh,
he.
I'd
Well,
I'd be really careful about that
I'm not
one.
suggesting we do that, and it's in a public area with all these people watching, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's still, I've seen some cringy moments on buses on public transit. And it's just, no, buddy, you got to get off.
And then no, this guy just somehow pulls it off. But anyway, I'm seeing this as a salt and a light. I don't even know if these people are Jesus followers, but what I'm saying is we should be the bright spot in someone's day for whatever
Yeah,
reason. Maybe it's just complimenting them on their job they're doing or whatever. Like, I want to be the guy who the Walmart till teller remembers, or whoever, as telling them a joke, or just being funny, or not
yeah, yeah,
just being the bright spot of their day. And I don't
yeah.
know if you always know what that looks like, and maybe it doesn't hit all the time, but uh, I don't know. I think that's what we
Something
should be
that's
doing
not
more.
negative anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to be the grumpy guy that was yelling at them that
Yeah,
makes their day worse. That's even worse than being useless salt.
yeah.
That's being I don't know, hydrochloric acid in their eyes, or what,
Yeah,
that's
the
bad.
the yeah the wrong mixture. The wrong mixture. Like sodium and chlorine are great together, but you don't want to lose one.
Is it too simple to say that though about this, to say, because I'm almost boiling it down to this: be the bright spot in someone's day, as
Yeah.
meaning be the salt and the light. Because it seems to be taking away the whole religious aspect that I used to think.
Mm-hmm.
But that, if you're doing it out of love, trying to make some, or showing concern for someone, and maybe someone's having a bad day. So, and same, let's stay with the Walmart teller that's seems grumpy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're just having a trash day. Use some empathy instead of like, why are they so sucky at their job and blah 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 blah. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe their grandma just died. You don't know none of that. Show
That's
some
right.
love and empathy and be the bright spot in their day if you can. Say,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, whatever. I don't know. I'm
You
also
you
very open and talk to people. Some people are shy and they don't want to just talk to strangers. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess I'm kind
Stranger
of
danger.
messed up in that way. That part of my brain is missing or whatever. But
Too
there's
much
other
small
ways
town.
to do it. I'm not the most creative person, but being the bright spot in someone's day, even if it's someone bring them a pie or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like a pie right now.
And we come back to the food. Yeah, a great story of this is so in my garage here, I used to have worship practices like crazy. And I used to have the kids band when we had a ton of kids who wanted to be in the worship team. So put together a worship team with all the kids, and there was about a dozen of them. And so we'd play in the garage to practice. And all of the neighbors started sitting outside and listening to it all.
That's cool.
And that was really cool. Like as they're and then one day, one of the neighbors actually approached Brandy. He was drunk at the time too, um, and Eddie,
Good
and he
old
came up
drunk
and he's like,
Eddie.
"Oh yeah," and he was like, you guys are showing what God really is. Like we're watching you. Like that's not the kind of God that I was taught when I was in school or when I was in church or whatever. You guys are doing the real thing." So that was
That's
awesome to
super
hear.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, geez, I kind of miss having everybody in here for worship practice now. It's like, oh yeah, my number of musicians went down to two. Myself and Brandy. So
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get into guitar again, because I really do miss that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. I really super miss um playing with other people. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's the thing. We have to try to be salt and light to the earth. And sometimes it's extremely hard for us because we get worn down. We are human.
Yeah.
So, and we have to fight our human nature all the time. Yeah.
Well, or give people, show people how, by the power of the Spirit and through the love of Jesus and our loving community, we can get through these things together.
Yeah.
Oh, like be open. That's right in the message too. I'm glad he put that there too. Just be open.
Yeah.
Like, don't act like you're better than anyone else. Just say, yeah, no,
Yeah.
dealing with a whole lot of crap right now. But
Have an open
how am I
house.
getting through it? I have awesome family and friends that have helped me through one of the trashiest parts of my life, literally this little while, and kept me from going over the edge. And I was open and honest with a lot of people. But my time before this, I've been the guy who's been lifting other people up when I see them go through them, because I have empathy and I see their lives and I'm like, what's going on with you? You seem a little down or whatever. So then we work at it together. But that has to extend past the church. I mean, maybe it's because we're not doing it enough with each other that we find it so hard to do people that aren't in our churchy circle.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be. Yeah. If we're not doing it enough with the church people, with the church body, how we expect to be able to do that with everybody else in the world? That's a good point. That's a really, really good point. I love that.
Well, thank you. I just made it up.
It rings very, I love it. It rings very, very true that, yeah, if we are failing at being Christ to other Christians, how the hell can we be a Christ to the world?
Yeah, no.
That's an awesome point.
I've been, like you can't, I've had people that I'm like, you can't even love me. Like, how are you expected to love, but God has moved me through that. Years ago, I worked with a guy who was the most perverted, annoying person I've ever worked with. Like, he really drove me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I basically got a hold of me and said, you're just wrong here. You gotta do it. Come with a different approach. And I said, God, then this is when I actually prayed lots and was pretty strong Christian. I'm joking. But I said, God, help me to love him. Just show me how to love this guy. And God completely changed my heart. I went from detest to complete love and concern for him. And it completely affected how I worked with him. Mm-hmm. He still was annoying like heck. But we had deep conversations about faith and life and stuff, which I never thought I would get on. And I don't think I've had any impact on his life. We don't work together now, but I feel good about how I treated him and how I loved him and the way I talked to him in the last days we worked together.
Yeah.
And that was because God put that desire in my heart. You could do it. It can be done. It's not on your own. Like, you're going to need the power of the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have one more thing you want to say? How do you want to sum this up for you?
One more thing.
What's the one thing you want to take from this into the coming weeks or whatever?
Yeah. How I would sum this up is that exactly how we had just said it, is that we, what was that again? We had just said it. And my brain let it go.
Loving each other.
Yes.
How can we love the world if we can't?
So, yeah. And then there was something else that you had just said that I thought was an amazing point. It's like, how many times do we go through and we're asking God to change somebody else, but it's actually us who needed to be changed to help to love them? That, my friend, was amazing.
Oh, well, so
that was an amazing point that you just came up with. And I'm like, that blows my mind there just a little bit. It's like, because
it's a thing I've had to live through, and I can only give the Holy Spirit credit for affecting that change in my life.
But that statement alone, I think is great. It's like we don't have to change people.
Mm.
God changes us to love people.
Yeah.
We don't have to change them. God will change us to how we're supposed to
Not my
love them.
job.
Not my job.
Yeah. It's like saving people. It's not my job to save people. Jesus is the savior of the world. I'm not the savior of nothing.
Yeah.
I'm the light that points them to
Exactly.
Jesus. I'm the light that's going to shine, have the God flavor in the world.
Oh, exactly, right.
And that's what I'm taking from this that I haven't thought of before, is about that openness that, well, no, I've thought that before too. But I guess what's going to change in my thinking and my practice in the next little while will be not being so judgy towards the church, because I'm an ex-evangelical or whatever you want to call it, or a guy who's left church. But and there's deconstruction, reconstruction, there's all that stuff. I don't like titles and things, but I'm working through stuff and I'm changing. And along with that, a lot of people, and especially if you're on Twitter, do a lot of bashing, which maybe sometimes, some super churches need to be bashed a bit to expose some garbage. But then I have to move away from that. I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to be the guy that's pointing out that garbage. I just want to be the light.
Yeah.
I'm not that embarrassed of it or anything like that. I mean, I know there's some real troublesome things in the church that I think we need to deal with, but I'm not going to be the guy bashing that anymore. Let someone else do that. I'm going to be a light to whoever I see, Christian, non-Christian, whatever. I don't have a category. I just want to be the light. God's love is going to shine through me. Good days, bad days.
Yeah.
It can't be on and off like a switch. It has to be there all the time. And with work, I can get there.
Yeah, I mean, with God, we can all get there.
Yeah, slowly but surely, we'll move along.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, and here we go. Here's our outro music.
So, if you have questions or comments on anything we've talked about, whether you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on the podcast, you can reach us on Twitter. We have @moreaboutjesus3. Also, send us an email, which no one has yet. You can be the first. Send us an email. moreaboutjesus21@gmail.com. We have a Discord server, so if you're watching on YouTube, there's links to it there. It's just called More About Jesus. Discord is where we talk about stuff and post some of this stuff. And of course, every other Friday, we're here on YouTube doing a live recording and be a part of the conversation. Or you could be a random chatter that asks really strange things in the chat. But either way, we love you. I think you're awesome. Right. So reach out. We need your input to be a part of this conversation. And we're just a couple of regular working dudes that want to shine the love of Jesus and learn more and more to make our lives more about Jesus. So until next time, let's do what we can to make our lives more about Jesus.
Amen, everybody, and have a blessed week.
Yes.